What's going on YouTube? Malice here, and welcome to my Let's Play of Stranded Alien Dawn. It's my Kira gaming up there in the background. I'm pretty sure you can hear it louder than you can probably hear me. But this would be episode 1, the third time I've recorded this. This would be episode 1. Let me show you, yeah, I'm laughing here, but let me show you what we had done. This isn't the first time I've tried to introduce this series to the channel. Every single time I try to do it, something always happens. Something always happens. I've had videos where I try to do hour-long segments here. And I've had videos that after the 8th minute just went completely blacked out. I've lost audio, I've had corrupted visuals, I've had everything you can think of happen to this series. This is the third time I'm trying to record this. So, prior to my last attempt, I didn't have a whole lot of experience with this game. Let me show you what we managed to get done. Now, I was almost done with the crash landing scenario. We were on episode 18? We're in year 6. This is what we had. We were kicking butt, taking names, everything's getting crafted, but, yeah. So, we're going to be doing this exact place again, but since this is episode 1 of my Let's Play, I have to start from the beginning. God, this really, this really hurts you guys. Like I said, this is the third time that I've attempted this. The third time. Now, the last time, I had to delete 2 videos off the channel. For those of you that have already seen, yeah, I've had to delete 2 episodes because the third one was extremely corrupted. I went and viewed every video after because I had everything saved. Everything was saved in my console. I had over 100 gigabytes of saved video and audio files for this, and all of them were trash in some form of fashion. So we're going to start by deselecting everybody. I'm going to give a quick breakdown of characters for anybody that hasn't played this game before. So first and foremost, you can see on the right hand side underneath skills and the character name, they give you a breakdown of what that character does. And just a quick example here real fast. Let me target 4. And you can see down here underneath Daniel at the very bottom, he has 0 physical. But that meter is about halfway. And that's because of, oops, I didn't mean to do that. And that was because of Connor. Your team, their stats are, ooh, perfect. I like these 2. But their stats are balanced off of the group. So you're looking for the best, possible outcome with everybody. Now, what I like to do here is I like Ken and Krista, mainly because I do want to try and get them together. I've had no luck, absolutely no luck. This guy, however, him and Krista hit it off just fine. And as you can see, constructs structures and devices twice as fast, so that's the other thing you need to pay attention to. They all have some sort of bonus and negatives. Has permanently decreased happiness, so it's harder to keep him from having mental breakdowns, whereas Ken, gains happiness from killing or observing death. Finds twice as much scrap. Amazing, honestly, the scrap. He can get your early game going significantly faster. I like Krista because she doesn't do crafting. She has reduced movement, but she occasionally gets insights to the research that she's currently doing, which can be massive once we get into the end game. Because the end game is where I like to keep my 3 to 5 day researches. And once her intellect gets a little bit higher, those breakthroughs really come in handy. So we're going to run Ken and Krista, and then we're going to pair them. The last time we had Grayson, and we had his wife, which I'm thinking about doing again. Just because he constructs things faster when it's built out of wood. But he does have the decreased movement speed, which is, it's a big hindrance. But Vanessa, makes people happy with music. Now, what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I don't know if I want to actually have Grayson or not. Um, I mean, he's not too bad. I mean, the carpentry, early game, he can make weapons and structures a little bit faster, but uh, occasionally improves the combat skill. So this right here, this is your make or break for your playthrough. Well, it's half of it. I didn't know Ember did that. That's kind of cool. She'd be really useful for a Spec Ops commander. That's why I'm gonna run her for the next scenario run through that I do. But we got Grayson and Vanessa. I think that's what we're gonna do, you guys. We're gonna run these four. Honestly, they have a lot of characters here, so it's all up to your personal preference and what you want to do. Xander isn't bad either. Um, he can get a lot of harvesting and stuff done, which he was doing on my last one. But let's go ahead and jump into this. Now we're doing Golf Lead, which is a really good seed to run if it's your first time. It gives you a decent area here on the starting world. There's two other worlds. I call this the starting world because it's the preset. You also have you have a desert world, and then you have a slightly more wet. I wouldn't say really amphibious, but it's more swampish, a little bit more frequent storms. So the first thing you're going to do when you load in is you're going to pause the game. And you're going to select each person individually, and we're going to disable raw food, but enable them to fight back. And one thing with Ken is since he's our primary combat specialist, we're going to go ahead and hook him up with a weapon. And we're going to do this for everybody. We're going to disable the raw food and fight back when attacked. And for Vanessa as well. This will keep them from eating any raw meat. They won't get sick. I think we're going to do the same exact thing we did with the last one. I'm going to try and build a little house over here, have a spot for power, get the farm. What you guys essentially saw there at the very beginning. That's what we're going to be aiming for in this one as well. I really like that layout. It was simple, it was large, so there was room for growth, and it wasn't, too hard to defend. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to manage, and we're going to go to schedule. We're going to set their sleeping schedule first. So I like to give them 5 hours in the morning, and then go from 10, or is that 11? No, it's 10 and 11 o'clock at night. And then give them a little bit of relax time, and then anything before that, and we're going to do some work, and then some anything, and some relax time. And then we're going to have them relax in the morning, and then anything. And that's how our schedule's going to look initially. The other reason I like this seed is early on we get a walk-on individual. It's usually Rocket, so he's going to ruin our chance of Ken and Krista, like he always does. Yeah, he's a pain in the butt. So first things first, with the activities. So we're going to take a look at their values. So Grayson has a 3 to construction, whereas Ken has a 1, and Krista has a 1. So we're going to disable them on that. We're going to keep Ken hunting. We're going to leave them like that. We're going to disable his cutting, because Ken is only going to have a few functions. He's going to be scavenging, he's going to be hunting, and he's going to be crafting initially. So that's Ken right here. For Krista, she likes to plant. We're not going to worry about animals too much. We're going to disable that. Harvesting is pretty crucial with her. She's not going to cook because we're going to have Vanessa cook, and that's going to be it for Krista. So for Vanessa, she's indifferent to the crafting and tailoring and assembling, so don't even bother with them as she won't really get experience with it. We're going to leave her as a cook, so disable Grayson. We're going to leave Observe on for now for these three so that we can get more researched. Well, not really research, but we get more unlocked. And through unlocking stuff is how you progress your research. You have to have the item more or less in your inventory and have observed it out in the wild before you can utilize it. So for Vanessa, I like to have her mining disabled the scavenging on both Grayson and Vanessa, as Ken will be our only scavenger. It says in his bio that he gets twice as much scrap early on as anybody else, so it's massive getting your base up and operational. I'm also going to enable her cut, and that's more or less how we're going to have Vanessa. And then, well, we'll leave her cut. We'll leave that just for now. But now for Grayson. Disable harvest, disable ranching, disable planting, as I already have a planter and harvester in Krista. We do two things with her. When it's time to sow, we disable research and we have her take care of all the planting, getting food ready for winter and all that stuff. Once winter approaches, that's when you don't really do too much planting, you're more harvesting, so you'll get a surplus of food, and then you bunker down for the cold winter and have Krista knock out all the researches that you want to then utilize for your next year. So to finish off here, this looks good. All right, and then from here, we're going to disable the simple properties, which is, this, being able to one tap, and we're going to go into the more complex setup. Now, the thing I like to do the most is I like to do Ken's first. So Ken, well, we're just going to go from left to right. So healing, always the very first thing you want to do. Construction, that will be Grayson's number 1. Hunting is going to be Ken's number 1, but it's also going to be scavenging. It goes from left to right in the order that they work on, so we're actually going to have that as a 2. I'm going to have cut as a 1. And I'm going to have mining as a 3, and we're going to do that as such. And then we're going to pop these as 1s, put research to a 1, plant to a 2, harvest to a 3. And then bump her handling up to a 4 so that she won't worry about handling. She'll just do some of the basic stuff around base. Cooking is going to be her secondary 1, followed by mining, and then cutting. She'll also do a little bit of handling. Let's see here. And then for Ken, drop these down to a 2 as well, so that we can have a little bit of crafting, a little bit of tailoring, assembling going, while when he's not out scavenging and hunting. So that looks like a decent starting. We might have to arrange a few things, but more or less this is going to get you going early on. Now from here, we're going to do a couple things. So first and foremost, research or observe all the trees. There's an evergreen, there's a big broadleaf, and then I believe over here there's a small broadleaf. There it is. So we're going to observe those, and then after that, we're going to observe some food items. We're going to observe the melons, we're going to observe the tall leafy plant. I believe nearby, let's see, where's the base? It's like right around here. No, it's just tall grass. Where is it? There's a grain grass around here somewhere. Is this tall grass? Well, it's somewhere around here. Broadleaf, pointy red plants. Okay, so that's those. Wide leaf plants, broadleaf bushes. There's a berry plant right here. You got a lot of good resources that are just like right here around the base. And that's what we're going to focus on here. Get the cotton. Whoa. Look out, everybody. Can't believe I caught something coming in on the pause button. Go ahead and unpause. Alright, so a meteor or a piece of debris strikes here and usually strikes right around here, removing majority of these. And there it goes. Alright, so this right here will be safe. The twisted plant, we're going to need that. And that should be good more or less early on. That's the blade grass. There's hay around here. And I think blade grass is hay. Okay, so we're going to do that. And observe the peculiar bush, which is a berry. and we're going to hit the 3 times, then we're going to hit pause. From here, we're going to set up Ken with a couple of jobs to scavenge some of the basic resources, and then we're going to set up a defensive region. Now, it all depends on, well, it depends on a couple different factors here on where you want to put your defenses. I like to try and push them up and out of the way, because the closer I get them to my central area, the longer it takes to move it once we get our couple defensive perimeters in place. So we're going to probably, let's put it over here, out of the way, just for now. I don't want to make it, that's the thing though. Alright, let's take a look here. So we have the farm over here, and it pushes out to about right here, because I remember having to go through this to go that way. So we're gonna bring our first layer, we're gonna push it out a little bit actually. I'm gonna take it over here, make it 4 wide, and go up just before the bushes. And we're gonna stretch it this way, and there, that'll be our first primary line. After you do that, probably pause the construction on it so that you can then, we're just trying to get a couple things squared away here first. I'm not trying to get it all done immediately, but we're gonna need to harvest a rock so we can get that and let them do their thing. Insert the broadleaf bush. We're gonna do some basic scrap metal shelters, and I'm gonna place them in, I'm gonna place one here, I'm gonna place one here, I'm gonna place one right here. The reason I'm doing this is because once we get the campfire, we'll only have to place one. Now these people are gonna have some disturbed sleep, but that's fine. It's only the first year that we're gonna have this layout, after which we'll start getting a house built over here. Or did I put it over here? No, we built the house over here. So I'm gonna start by building a house over here after we get a couple things squared away. But first things first, getting a house built. Don't worry about the farming quite yet. Excuse me. But the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this. And we're gonna give ourselves a little bit of a storage area. Now, one thing that I personally like to do is I like to set this storage device up, the shelf, with the raw food, the cooked food, and my medicines. I like to keep them all off the floor. After this, go ahead and make some stockpiles. Don't worry about it being out in the open. This is just temporary. This is just to get us more or less into the realm of, into the houses, more or less. Just to keep something, a place to keep your resources. Keep fumbling over my words. But yeah, it's just a quick little place to store your basic resources early on until you get a proper house built. And once you get the house built, you want to build your storage inside of it, because things last significantly longer under a roof as opposed to being outside, which is why I said don't worry about this. It's just going to be a quick little thing. Now afterwards, disable the foods, disable the cooked meals, and disable the medicines on both stockpiles. The raw food, the cooked meals, and the medicines. After which, you're going to want to build a couple of wardrobes. Unfortunately, we only have access to the metal ones, so I like to do one on either side of the row there. And this is going to be for our clothing and a couple other things. Honestly, we could go and place a couple more, and I'll just have them facing in the same direction, just like this. Okay, after this, we're going to go back to our camp. It does not look like we have that yet, so we need to observe the bush because I need some sticks, and that'll get us our campfire. Now these resources, once we get a spot for them, they will be moved over here. Another thing that you want to do early on is you want to go to science and you want to get your research tables going. Let me see, where's a good place for me to put this? I'm going to put it right here. And this will get Krista working once she's done observing a few things out in the wilderness. We are finally observing that broadleaf bush, which means it's almost time to get a campfire and potentially some food cooking up in here. Now initially, with the scavenging and Ken, you can only scavenge so much of the ship before it just stops. And that's where the research comes into play. And then Grayson, as soon as he's done helping with the observations, he's going to come over here and he's going to start building everything that we need. However, we're on day 2, so I'm going to pause all of these. We need this done right now. Construct. Need that done immediately, as we're going to be getting attacked here shortly. We're on day 2, hour 12. The last time that I did this in preparation of the Let's Play series, the first 2 times, we got attacked on day 3, both times. So, with that in mind, you want to get some sort of defensive line ready. It's something that's going to get these beetles stuck. Because what happens when they get stuck is the trap will bleed them for about half their HP. It'll also stick them to the trap for a little while, giving your people, free shots on them. Essentially shooting fish in a barrel. And this works for a while, you guys. Like, the very beginning that I showed you, right in the very beginning, the original, or it wasn't really the original. I played this game twice prior to this series. The first time I played for a year and a half. We didn't quite make it to year 2. I just wanted to get my feet wet and understand the basic principle of the game before I decided to create a Let's Play on it. Because I was, a little unknowledgeable about the game. I'm a lot more knowledgeable about it now that we've almost beat the scenario and then had to restart the series. Alright, so one thing we're going to have to do is I have to allow them to sleep in a bed. We can't have them sleeping on the floor. That's detrimental to their mental. And now that we can cut, let's go ahead and cut some of these. Did I cut the wrong thing? I cut the wrong thing. I cut the tall grass when I wanted to select the bushes. There we go. Now we got the bushes selected. Can't remember who's on cut duty. I think it's Grayson. And so we're going to see what's about to happen with Grayson. What are you going to do, Grayson? I need you to do something for me, buddy. Here's some construction options. Oh yeah, they're allowed to do anything right now. So let's wait until it's time for them to work. Going to sleep. But I set your schedule. Yeah, you guys should be sleeping at that time. That's weird. Okay. So whenever Grayson wakes up, he should get to work on some things. Hopefully I won't have to restart this series. I need him to get to construction. But I also need him to do a little bit of cutting. So now that he's done a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and just, cancel the rest of these orders so that he gets to constructing. We need these traps built, or at least some of them, because we're about to get attacked. And thank God, he's finally getting to work on them. I think I made a cup of coffee and forgot about it. Let me go check. And while I'm checking, the main difference that I'm going to do with this Let's Play as opposed to the last one is the last one I stockpiled all of my videos and then I was going to release them in bulk. with this time, since I've learned from my mistake, after I get done making a video, I'm gonna save, and then I'm gonna go back. Or I'm gonna create a save file. No, because that wouldn't work either. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna get it figured out, you guys, I promise. But for now, once I get done with the video, I'm just gonna go straight into editing with it. I'm going to maybe see if there's any potential way to make 2 save files. And I'm surprised we didn't get attacked on day 3. What is this? Oh, no. That's right. We're playing on medium difficulty. We'll get attacked on day 5. I was trying to, the first time I played it, I was playing it on the hardest difficulties. I didn't think this game would be too difficult for somebody like myself, who I've had some experience in the survival genre with Ark, 7 Days to Die, Rust, um, you know, there's a few other ones under my belt, Green Hell, etc., Minecraft. So I'm not entirely unaccustomed to survival games. However, I'm not really used to having to micromanage several people. So that was new to me, having them all with their own specific roles, having to micromanage. I'm not used to micromanaging. I'm used to just doing my thing. You know, one character, one person, going out, grabbing what I need at that point in time and bringing it back to my base and doing what I need. This is a whole new ballpark for me. I'm really enjoying it though. As I've said, this is my 3rd attempt to make this series. That should show you that I really do enjoy this game. No, I don't think it got as much love as it really should have. It's a brilliant game by the developer. And we're gonna do one campfire, just keep everybody warm. And we have Grayson, who's nearing completion of the first half of these traps. We're on day 4, so I'm assuming he's gonna get this all completed before it's time to get attacked. So while we're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and have him harvest this. I'm going to activate the construction table, and we're going to first let Grayson complete this, and then we're going to get him to work on everything else. We're going to start with our beds, the research table, so that I can get Krista to working, and she's absolutely doing nothing right now. I want to get the farm going, but we don't have everything that we need. Don't even have half of what we need. I've got all the trees. Alright, so now that we've got a couple initial things done, I'm going to disable Grayson's observations. He's no longer going to observe for us. That way we can continue to do our observations for Krissa, as well as get our other work done. So let's find everything that we need to observe and get it completed. So I've already got the cloth blossom. We're observing that animal. I've got these, I've got this. Oh, I didn't observe the squash-like plant. Oops. That's going to be crucial. The orange mushroom, observe that as well, as that's another source with an S, not an F. Another source of food. This is a source of food that I don't really mess around with. It will create syrup, which, like I said, I don't really play around with the syrup too much. So I'm going to avoid it like the plague for now. If I need it later on, we'll go ahead and grab it, but until then, we're just going to ignore it. So Vanessa needs a place to sleep. Grayson is nearly done with the traps, so at the beginning of this next day, he's probably going to get to work on the base. So let's deactivate, or let's activate the construction for the beds and everything, after which I will get the storage going. But them sleeping on the floor is not going to cut it anymore, not on day 5. Day 5, we need them in bed. And honestly, by day 5, you should have already had your research going. Krissa is way behind right now. Honestly, around day 7, day 10, that's when you want to have your hot air balloon. I should be getting the smelting done right now so that we can have access to to smelted metal metal alloys. And then since we have the gasoline, that would give us the ability, and this right here, would give us the ability to make that. But we are currently waiting on Grayson to get done with what he's doing. And there's the creatures right on time. Let's go ahead and select them, see where they're coming from. They're gonna walk right into my trap. Perfect placement, you guys. Now, it's all RNG. It'll all be randomized on what they send at you. Okay? So you can reload the game if you lose all your survivors, and you won't necessarily get the same creatures. They'll be in the same exact spot, but they won't always be in the same place. And there's Raka again, here to ruin my playthrough. Hello, Raka. You here to take Krissa from Ken again? Of course you are. You're welcome to stay. So, him and Krissa are going to get together, which is really going to annoy me because for the longest time now, I have been trying to get Ken and Krissa together. It's just not in the cards for me, I suppose. That's fine. Okay, at least somebody's getting some, you know. Alright, so Grayson is mining. Let's go to the activities. Now, Rocket doesn't heal. He's indifferent to it. He does like construction, so we're going to put that as a 1 for him. He doesn't hunt. He doesn't harvest. We're going to leave cut active. Disable that. Disable this. We're going to leave this active. We're going to disable cooking. We're going to leave those 3. And we're going to disable those. And now since we have what we're going to do, let me go ahead and make that a 2. We're more or less going to follow what we did with Vanessa. But he does like to do some crafting. So he's going to be a constructor first, a miner second, a cutter 4th, because he doesn't really need it. Actually, yeah, we'll leave those as 2, because he'll do the mining before he'll do these. But Vanessa will also do some mining. And I'm over here not even interacting with my people. Okay, draft everyone. I can't draft everyone. So they just get all of my traps. Swell. Now let's group everybody up. Draft. Put them over here. Raka needs to remove the raw food. Attack back. I have a bad habit of talking when I should be doing more important things, like getting all of my survivors hooked up and surviving. Get everybody picked up over here, and we're going to undraft now that everything's dead. I should have been paying more attention, because early game survival and healing, it's rough. If you don't have the proper healing stuff, for instance, when you're on the hardest difficulty in the game, if you don't have the required resource, you die. It's that simple. If you don't have it, you die. And let's see if it affects this difficulty as well. Now, thankfully, they have a place to sleep, but we can't do anything. So Vanessa's going to keep trying to heal herself. I believe she cannot fail on a healing, so that's a good thing. But Chris is running low on her HP. We don't need you to heal Raka. I need you to heal Krista. Krista's the big one that you need to be concerned with. So refining metal. We're gonna wait for the winter to do sleep training. It's not overly important, but you know what? Let's go ahead and disable that since I have long distance travel somehow. I must have gotten some metal somewhere. I'm not gonna complain. I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy. And we're gonna heal Krista last. Swell. Good job. Hopefully she doesn't die. Got rocket mining. You need to treat Krista. There you go. Alright, and now we can go ahead and start building everything else, you guys. Make sure that the construct has a nice little check mark on it, and we will get to work. Now, this is where our meds and our food's gonna start going to where we can cook. This is where all our components are gonna go for all of our building. And this is where all of our armor and weapons is gonna go for now. Now, since we got this going on, we wanna get ourselves a large stone table. And you wanna put it somewhere where you're gonna have your people eat. Since it's a little bit more easier to fit people on this side, let's go ahead and place them here. Now, after you place your table, go ahead and place some chairs. I like to do stone because they're cheap. Everybody's got a sleep parasite, and everybody wants to interrupt me as I'm trying to build something for them to eat on. And here we go. 6 seats for 6 people. And the resources are starting to come in. It's a beautiful sight. Krista was researching. What is she? Oh, she's healing. She wasn't researching. I'm a blind man. However, we have a plethora of gasoline coming through. Good job, Ken. 256. So we're gonna get some stuff done, you guys. You know, assuming that Krista can get up and knock out this research, we might have our hot air balloon. Can't speak. Sorry. We might have our hot air balloon by day 7, which is massive because not even 2 days ago, I didn't even have my research table built. And day 7 is when you want to have your hot air balloon up and running. The sooner, the better. With the hot air balloon, you can send people out on missions or start receiving missions to send them out to get various things. Depending on the mission, will depend on what you get as a reward. Now, there's a couple missions that I keep an eye out on. One of them is a self-destruct mission. The self-destruct mission will give you upgrades to your weapons and armor or to your power generation. I've seen both in one playthrough. I've received all but one in my last playthrough. I was waiting to get the graphite solar cell, which is the upgraded solar power generation. I had everything else from the weapons and the armor upgrades, the 2.0 versions for all 3 weapons. For the carbon armor, I had the improved battery. I had the improved the wind turbine. Like I said, I was just waiting on that solar cell. Everything else was good to go. I had all my research done, everything done, but unfortunately, we lost that entire series due to some bugs. I'm thinking it was because I had too much saved to my console at once. So I'm going to experiment with this playthrough. We're just going to release as we do it. Hopefully that takes care of the problem. I might also save the videos twice in hopes that if one gets messed up, I'll have that secondary one to either pull footage from to stitch together, or just have an entire video that's not corrupted. Either or, I want to get this series out. And this is the last time I'm going to do it. So if I can't get this series out in its entirety, you guys will know why. It's because my console doesn't like me, and I've had tons of problems with my editing software on the PlayStation. It's atrocious. Let me take a look. something here. I'm afraid that if it was due to what I'm about to do, I want to pause the game and check how long I've been recording this for. But I think we're at 38 minutes. With the next couple videos, I'm gonna actually get a stopwatch because I can only record up to 60 minutes on the PlayStation 5 before it starts overwriting. One of the downfalls of console gaming, unfortunately, it's really had me on the fence about grabbing a PC. You know, even a cheap PC is better than no PC. But at least give me the ability to record to a secondary site in case anything happens to this file on the console. I'd have that backup saved to my PC. So that's another reason why I want to get a PC. But so far so good. Got a nice little start here, you guys. Did I get the research done yet? I did not. Where's Krissa with the research? She's only 25% done? Krissa, come on. You gotta get into the research, girl. Come on, get it done. Please, I beg you. In the morning, I need you to wake up. I need you to grab a cup of coffee, Monster Energy drink, something that's gonna get you going. A little nose candy. I'm gonna need you to bury your face into this book over here. And I'm gonna need you, it's not really a book, but I'm gonna need you to bury your face into this research table and produce me a long distance travel device as soon as you can. Do you understand me, young lady? I ain't gonna have no sass. You're gonna get it done. Right now. Wake up. Research. I guess go eat first. Yeah, you can eat first. We won't be completely cruel to her. But go eat, and then afterwards, start researching. Let's see what we can do over here. Absolutely nothing, as I don't have any food harvested. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start grabbing some of these food items. Let's grab the buttermelons. Let's grab some of this grain. I thought I researched this. I guess I didn't. Ooh, I gotta use the bathroom. Okay, Vanessa's gonna do that. Let me see here. Uh-oh. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. I had to run. That was a close one, too. So I got Krista doing this research, which she's nearly completed with. Just unfortunate that it's day 8 by the time that she got around to it. Pause the game, grab the hot air balloon. And the other reason I said uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's another reason to say uh-oh. Alright, so we got the metal refinement next. I went to go hit the record button and I saw a black screen. I didn't even see a picture of what was going to be the video, so that's not good. But this is the last time I'm going to try and get this done, you guys. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It wasn't meant to be, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give it the old college try. You guys deserve that much at least. Come on, Krista. I need that research done. Where you at? What are you doing? Krista, what are you doing? This girl, I swear. Hopefully Vanessa will go do that once Krista gets back to researching, since she was almost done. I don't know why she wasn't even almost done. She was just getting started. Alright, but we need this observation. This tall leafy plant, I believe this is the one that gives us grain, which we will then turn into a couple different items, one of them being a food source. And the downside to this game is at night, everything gets boring because, everybody has to sleep. But I need to get this going. We're already behind. 31% on the metal refinement. I'm just going to disable all of the research for now. We can come back and grab this in a little bit. I need to wait until Chris is done with that research, unfortunately, because that's all she wants to focus on is going and grabbing the plants. So actually, what I think I'm going to do, Krista, your plants at 2. No, because then you'll plant before observations. I'll just leave it as that. However, once we get towards winter, we're going to want to get all our farms going. Okay. Now if that's done, we're going to go ahead and end it here, you guys. Thank you for coming along through. But hope you guys take care, you stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video.